And the world will never rise to its full moral or political or even social maturity until racism is totally eradicated.
Dr. King has influenced me personally by making me feel braver and more confident to stand up to injustice, because if he hadn't done what he did 50 years ago, the world would be a completely different place. I think it's really important for the university to recognise 50 years since we honoured Dr. King, because we were actually the only UK university to honour him whilst he was still alive, and I think that was such a huge statement for us to make. I think it was almost radical in a way for this university to do something like that. So to not forget about that and to not let that be just a relic of the past, I think is just completely so important. Almost makes this feel like hallowed ground in a way, not to exaggerate, but it was really important what they did. So it makes me feel like I'm a part of that as well. The fact that Dr. King thought this institution was worth his time and that we thought he was worth honouring makes me feel important as well in a way. Dr. King is still really, really relevant today. In his speech, he talked about the three great ills that plague the world, so racism, poverty and war, and they're still things that are so important and so grave at the moment now. We've not completely got rid of these problems, and we need to remember what he said so that we can continue this fight and continue to try and eradicate these things. When I listened to Dr. King's speech, one thing that he said that really stood out to me was that people of all races, all ethnicities need to work together to fight against racism, and it's not just up to the victims of racism to try and eradicate it. We'll never get rid of it unless we all work together.
For all men of goodwill to work passionately and unrelentingly to get rid of racial injustice, whether it exists in the United States of America, whether it exists in England, or whether it exists in South Africa.
When I'm in the same place that Dr. King once stood, it makes me feel like this institution is just so special. I feel like I'm part of that sort of history. I feel like Dr. King thought this place was special, and I think it shows that this university really values that sort of civil rights fight. The university values standing up for what you believe in. And I think it makes me feel more confident to stand up for what I believe in if I see injustice, whether on campus or just out in the world. When I was watching Dr. King's speech, I was just so struck by the level of gravitas and the presence that he had. And I think we are all aware, subconsciously and consciously, of racism, poverty, but hearing him say that, hearing him really press into us how important it is, I think it's so motivating. It really empowers people to get up and continue the fight that he started 50 years ago.